Doing it.
What?
Yeah, we're live.
What?
We're live.
Oh my gosh, it says I have low battery. That is such crap. We're live, Hamilton.
We're live. What do you need for your battery?
It's fine. It's plugged in. I don't know what it wants from me. Oh my gosh, my dog. This is terrible.
Wow, your dog? That's nice. I heard Petunia got you a little...
1 second. All right, I'm locking him out. Get out of here. Go get. Okay. I mean business now. Big business. I had such nice light in here, though, with that door open.
Yeah,
my
but now
neighbor.
You got this,
what?
like, over top of your, I don't know, can you see it in yours, how the window is shining into the camera and it makes your face really dark?
Yes.
I wonder if I can do...
No, you can't do anything. But listen, here's the problem, Hamilton, is that there's a neighbor who brought their dog over to play with my dog impromptu. And so I had to close them out of my studio by closing the garage door. So.
I see. Okay.
Hey, bud. Listen, when they leave, I'll open my door back up, and then you'll be able to see my beautiful face. In the meantime, what are you doing? How are you? What are you up to?
I'm pretty good. I just went to this event, which is kind of interesting. When I told Rachel about it, she was very up in arms about it. She thought that it was ridiculous. And it was, but it's also kind of great too. So I just went to let me move this first so I have a place to sit. Let's slide this over here. Move this.
That's a nice sound.
Yeah. Anyway, so if Northwestern has any one thing going for it, it's that it's got a really kick-ass business school that is pretty over the top insane. If you were to see the building, you would understand. I mean, it ain't messing around. They have a lot of money and a lot of interest in business.
The business of business.
Eli is on.
Hey, Virginia.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Is that you?
Check out my painting technique. I'm about to use a very patented...
Oh, boy. Oh, I like your painting.
Oh, thank you.
It's like little worms.
See what I'm doing? I'm rubbing the paint off of the saran wrap and onto the painting.
Oh, I want to see.
Genius.
Seeing how I'm doing that? I just rub really lightly, and I create, I'm able to create larger patterns. Some would call it narratives.
Shit, I like that a lot.
He's so creative.
I love it.
Henry, you've been working on the same painting all 3 episodes. Hamilton has had a different one every time.
No. Ham has changed his. He keeps working on it. As I keep working on mine. I'm using this. I have Valspar Signature High Hiding Paint Plus Primer. Stands up to anything. Zero block technology. I've gotten a lot of calls.
What painting have you been working on your television show?
Me?
Yes.
I don't have a television.
You don't. Oh, I see. Well, we can't. We can't all have television shows. That's understandable.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate.
I don't know what to add to mine.
How's Rachel? I just saw her. She was just here. I miss her now.
She seems very well. Yeah, everything's going great. She just got here. Yeah, we haven't had much time to just kind of sit and hang out, but eventually we will.
Yeah.
I showed her the library today here, which I don't think she even wanted to see that much, but I was like, you have to see it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's important to show the people you love the things that you love.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Wow.
That is.
Henry and I took a kind of a nice day today. After he got home from work, the weather is really nice here. It's like fall and like kind of chilly, but really sunny. And we just like took a nap in a big pile with Petunia on the hammock on the porch, like in our sweaters. And it was just like so wonderful. And I like took a really deep nap. And then we were woken up by the fire alarm because Henry tried to heat up the coffee and totally forgot about it. So the coffee was heating for like an hour and was like on fire. And so it was like this awful awakening. But that's besides the point of the nap.
I heard your dad really doted on you guys and got you a toaster oven.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Really.
Yeah. How's the house? More importantly.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and by that she means it's crazy.
Yeah, but if I just say it's good, then it kind of gets better, I think. People ask me, and I'm like, it's crazy, I have anxiety, and now I just say, it's really great, and it makes me feel better about it.
Listen, Hamilton, the house is awesome. We have a lot of work to do. Here's the main thing, is that because of where we're at on it, which is that we are deep in the process of sort of stripping up and redoing the floors, which had like 9 layers of linoleum on it.
Wow. 9 layers. Jesus.
We just want Hamilton to see Petunia.
What's it?
Yeah.
Petunia. Hey, Petunia.
So
I wish there was to get an image. Oh, I think I could figure this out. Where I get an image while I paint, where I could also look at what you guys are doing.
But you can't see me.
I think it would require taking my computer and then putting it.
Wait,
right.
Wait, you can't see us?
No, I can see you, but I have to look back away from my painting at you. I'm about to do this thing tonight. I'm really excited about. I've wanted to do it for a while. Where do you remember the cubed project?
Yes.
I am going to try and enact that without the galleries, just like using 3 of the spaces on campus here. So yeah, right, but it requires 3 computers and 9 Gmail accounts.
You've made 9 Gmail accounts?
I've made 4 so far. I'll make the other 9 tonight.
You have low battery.
That's great. Why do I have low battery? Ginny, it's okay. I got it.
But thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye. I'm going to my studio.
Oh, you're going?
I love
it. Okay. It was nice to
Okay.
Henry,
I'm going to open the gate and close it.
No, just pull through and close it. I'm doing this. I love you. Yeah, so anyways, we're redoing the floors, and what that means is that we can't turn on our heat because we've like, there's all like the ducts are all like clogged or blocked, and all this dust and stuff has fallen down onto the heaters and needs to be cleaned, and there's no point in doing that prior to us like refinishing the floors entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And so the goal is to finish the floors by next week, but it means that currently we have no heat.
Huh. Wow.
And like in the mid 40s at night right now.
Tense. Yeah. That's a lot.
So that is interesting. That and just like in general. So over the weekend I was at the Michigan Ceramic Art Association conference, which is kind of like, you know, it's a small thing, but it's a lot of fun. It's like a lot of familiar faces and just catching up. It's great. There's more I can say about it than that, but I won't. Yeah, I was just talking to people about this job in Grand Rapids and trying to decide whether or not I really needed to do it, or if I could just like focus on having valuable experiences here in Detroit and working on this house and working on my art, you know, and just like wondering, do I need to be teaching right now in order to, you know, maybe teach later?
Yeah.
And it was interesting to get some feedback on that. Basically, I don't know. I don't think I can. I found out that what the pay is it's $5,000 for the whole semester for 2 classes, and it would be expecting me to drive, you know, to commute from here to there.
Yeah,
which I just cannot afford to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So, question is like, is it worth me making that investment and like taking that loss, because I would spend like $2,500 just in like travel costs alone?
Yeah, totally.
Or do I not do that? You know.
I guess I feel like we know plenty of other people who are doing the profession. And I wonder what they think of this.
Yeah, this conference was to like see what they thought.
What did they think?
You know, they thought like, oh, it's a really good opportunity. I could see going both ways, but I think I've kind of decided I'm not going to go both ways. I'm going to just not do it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good plan. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like muscle memory. I don't really know what I'm going to do for a job, you know, but I think it would be more important for me to like come up with something that feels meaningful here. Like, I don't even know how I could justify driving 6,000 miles for that, you know, over the course of the semester. It just seems.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's a lot. I guess it's asking yourself, well, I mean, under the ideal circumstances, or like just even without the need to make some money quickly, what would be that price at which you could justify, like I have a teacher who I think she lives in New York, and she comes here expressly just to teach classes on Mondays and Tuesdays.
I would never do that.
Yeah, but even if they were to pay you $80,000 a year. and all you had to do was to be in this one place for basically 4 hours.
Well, I just hate flying.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I remember you saying that now.
That would be my problem with that. I think that the cost of flying for me is very high.
Wow.
But if I could drive,
Yeah.
I like to drive. Like, in terms of the activity, I don't like what it really ends up being, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You don't like the part of driving of like using a fossil fuel.
Yeah, that kind of bothers me. For sure.
Yeah. I agree. I'm also bothered by it.
How are other
Yeah, I
things?
don't know.
So, as been coordinating, I imagine coordinating this project you're going to do tonight is taking some time.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, this is just the test tonight to see how it will function.
Like rent several laptops in order to do that?
There are like 3 computer like desktops that they don't need. I'm basically, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try them all out in the same space before I do anything. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's funny because I have so many ideas in my head, and I think that they could be just good enough as art as is. I don't actually need to do them. But then there is also another part that actually really wants to see this thing in the world and what it would look like. But
Yeah, well, how do you share just the idea, I think that physical space is pretty critical to sharing that idea, right?
yeah.
I think that's my big issue with this painting is I'm not sure that the painting really does anything besides distract me while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, there's something that, like you said about driving, that doesn't sit well with you about this idea of burning fossil fuels, while you're barreling down the road. I don't feel good about this idea of like having multiple things going on at once. I mean, I think that I've employed that a lot over the years, and I don't necessarily think that it's a completely wrong move, but I like this idea that that we could just be right here, right now. And it's actually the whole point of the piece is to kind of talk about that anxiety of the need to be everywhere at once.
Like that I can't afford to talk to my friend Hamilton without painting?
Yeah, in a way. That we and I'm not saying you are guilty of this necessarily. I'm saying that I find that this comes up a lot in my working habits where to make a drawing, like I'll listen to a podcast or I'll listen to some music while I make the work. And in doing that, I feel like there's a kind of removal from the act of just focusing on this one thing. That instead I feel too anxious and I need to fill it with some other void.
Yeah, but is this a painting that you would do better not talking to me? Or is this a painting that, like, I guess for me, it's like, I'm wondering what my primary activity is here. Because what I would really like to do is, like, know what you've been up to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
And I'm not really a painter. I'm just like making a painting, and I don't know what this is at all.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the premise behind a lot of what we make, is that we are making stuff that we wouldn't make if it didn't feel good.
But I also think it's important to figure out how or why it feels good as we make it. I'm not sure that it feels good.
You don't think this feels good?
I don't know. I think it's kind of dumb.
It could be dumb. It definitely is dumb. Dumb isn't always bad, though.
I agree with that.
But I mean, I also think that we like live in a world where things that aren't productive or don't provide some sort of utility are oftentimes pushed to the side as being worthless.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like I'm struggling to figure out like if I can make this painting carry anything besides just this like record of me talking to you. Because as far as I can tell, that's what it's a painting of, and kind of like of my inner emotions that I kind of unpack while we chat.
Yeah.
But in terms of the imagery, just not sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's been helpful for me to like have a plan or something.
I can't hear you now.
That's because my dog is being an idiot. I'm like thinking about a plan, what that could have been, or if it would have been worthwhile.
Is there something you would rather do?
No. No, that's why I'm kind of caught up in it. What I'd like to do is to kind of figure out what I'm painting, that or to just like have a better sense of what you're up to. I think I'll keep building my thought about this.
Yeah, I can talk for a minute.
Yeah, what do you
So I just went to this business meeting. It was very, but also kind of nice. So Western has this initiative to give you a leadership coach, which is very strange to me when I'm an art student. But anyway, I decided I will try this out because this seems really weird and something that I would otherwise never do. And I get there, and it's this woman who's in business school right now. Northwestern has a very reputable business school. One day when you come here, I will show you this building. It is so mind-blowing. Anyway, I get there, and we start to talk, and I say, like, I don't really know what this is supposed to be doing, and I'm slightly skeptical of it. And the woman says, yeah, well, actually, we're in this, like, leadership class where we, like, taught how to like lead people, and then we get mentees and we teach them, and it sounds like this pyramid scheme. Kind of, but then we start talking a little bit more, and she's like, so I could help you do things like figure out time management and stuff, and we can just sit and talk about what you did the week before and maybe what you're doing later if you want to do that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm terrible with time management. Jesus Christ, like my partner, like expresses just how bad I am with this. Like, yeah, why not? Let's meet and talk about that. So we're gonna meet and talk about it like next week. And yeah, there's also another part of me that thinks that I am actually really interested in these like initiatives of figuring out a way to exist in the entirety of like an arts ecosphere, because I don't think that just the way of just trying to get gallery representation at a big gallery is the end all of everything. I think there's much more to be had. So
Like what do you think when you think that?
well, I think about, Lane, the chair of the department here, talks about like these galleries that are popping up, like the Luminist. Forgive me if I get that name wrong. It's either Luminary or Luminist, out of St. Louis. That's partnered with Temporary Art, or maybe they're not partnered, but they're run by the same person. And it was started up by artists, and one is like what I think. I mean, they're both pretty reputable by now, but one is like the Temporary Art Review is a review of like arts that aren't just New York shows, but stuff that's going on around the country in places that people might not go to as frequently, but also just talking about art in general. And it's a smaller thing that hasn't always been a big deal, and yet this is a new form outside of the establishment of Art Forum or Art in America, where people are finally talking about things. And similarly, this gallery, which is more like a museum at this point, with 4-month shows, which is funded through a lot of grants funding and is not trying to sell work necessarily, also functions outside of this system, that we are taught to believe in.
Which is that?
A system of like galleries, I feel like, or a gallery world that typically is only in certain places that it can be supported by, like in LA or New York.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've always had a much greater interest than I had in how those systems, like, I suppose I'm interested in how those systems operate,
Yeah.
but I've never seen myself being in them at all.
Yeah. Huh.
And I don't know why that's the case, but I guess it always, like, I think that's probably because I wasn't taught to believe that I should be a part of it, Because you're like, that we're all taught to believe that, we work into it. I never believed those things. So
Well, ceramics is also kind of in its own realm. Like, you can sell your work for, $50 a piece or something, and it's not inside of the system of creating kind of your own value system. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's not like a painting where it's like, oh, that's a Gerhard Richter, like that sells for X amount of dollars on the market versus something else.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are certain ceramic artists that have like a value that their work is known to sell for. Maybe it's not known for that within the same community that knows that a Gerhard Richter is worth X amount, but some of it might be. Some of it certainly is.
Would Warren
What?
Would Warren McKenzie be an example? I mean, he tries to keep it artificially.
No, Warren McKenzie is a potter, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that is one thing that, like, I think he's sort of purposely done quite a bit to avoid being in that sort of market, because he has a kind of distaste for it. But like Peter Volkus did a lot to quite specifically be a part of that whole narrative. And you know, I don't think it you know, maybe within that context you're taught that you could be a part of a gallery. I'm just thinking about like the Detroit art scene, and like I feel like maybe it never comes up because it's like that doesn't even exist to a certain extent here. Like the idea that you would have a show at a gallery to sell it is kind of like, well, no one's buying art.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah.
And most people I know that make art certainly aren't making it to sell it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think most of the artists that I can't think of any artist that I really admire outside of like maybe Theaster Gates that like sells their work that I'm really interested in. Like,
yeah.
And the reason why I'm interested, and I'm interested not really particularly in what Theaster Gates sells, but how he goes about selling it, you know? Which is
Does he have some?
Which is that it facilitates this, you know, larger program that is his art practice. And so, yeah, it's like the object is really just kind of like almost like a souvenir or like a bond. In fact, he's like literally made bank bonds that, you know, allow someone to buy and commodify and own his work, and, you know, it speaks to the value of his ideas. But, you know, maybe this is my problem for buying into, and maybe I'm being a sucker for it, but, you know, it seems to me that what he's primarily doing is, you know, manipulating that market in order to enable his own sort of like ethically driven agenda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think is different than a lot of artists who are primarily working toward, or it sort of seems this way when we put the object, like when we fetishize the object, it seems that primarily just working toward the production of a desirable thing. I don't know, I'm much more interested in the kind of political and sort of socially enabling art practices. As I like make this painting, which is what I mean, I guess that's the big thing for me is I just don't know what the fuck this painting does. I know what happens, like I guess for me I'm really interested in, like, I love your idea for this whole reality, like experience where all of these people are gonna like run into each other through these like portal type rooms. I love the way that other people are gonna be able to like claim that and play with that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And I suppose that's what happens with our film and like with this video that is like potentially being watched somewhere.
Or now.
Or now.
I mean, I actually was thinking that for this project, which I have to show on Monday, it would be a live broadcast. So that anybody could basically chime in, not with the thought that people actually would, but with the thought that this is perfect as is in that moment. It couldn't be any more perfect.
What couldn't?
The piece itself that I would be showing.
Yeah.
I was thinking that I could mediate a conversation to start something and see where it goes. The idea that the conversation is really just a way to kind of begin a question in some way and then see where that's taken to and see how people are affected by it. I found out this really, well, I didn't find out this really shocking thing. I knew about it for a little while. It was just yesterday. I came home and I felt like my heart was kind of like racing about it. It really didn't sit well with me. So I went to college with this someone who became like a really good best bud, and we still see each other when he comes through. He is in a rock band. And when he came through, which I won't mention the name of, because I don't know why, I feel like that's something that doesn't need to happen yet. But,
Okay.
or maybe I should out of moral obligation. Anyway, I saw him in the spring, and he was coming through with his band again. They've gotten quite the they received a fair amount of fame for the music they make. And I asked him, like, wait, so, I mean, over the years, they've had a revolving cast of drummers and other people who kind of play with him for a little while and then you see what comes out of it. But the guitarist in the band, who also has his own band, was like not there, and I was like, where's Matt? And he told me that, and Matt has always been like a close brother to him. I mean, they started this band out of a passion to just be together and to make cool music.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was they said they had to kick Matt out of the band, which is like, holy fuck, really? Like, whatever could have occurred? And apparently Matt was like going around and doing some really horrible things to women. And
that's terrible.
Yeah, just really inexcusable things. And it came to a point where it was like, no, you can't go on. You can't, this reflects on all of us. You're out of the band. And that was that. And I didn't hear anything more about it. And Bleecker said it was like the hardest, the easiest black and white, both the easiest, or something like the easiest, hardest decision he's ever had to make. Which is like, of course, he has to like make this choice about this thing, and it has to be this way because it's a terrible thing that this guy's done. And but at the same time, he's like someone who's been with him for several years. But anyway, a story came out in Spin magazine yesterday about Matt, and about all this stuff that he did to women and how they're starting to file suits against him. And it made me, I don't know, I just felt so, I don't know why. I guess I sympathize. I think about like, what if my brother, which my brother doesn't, but what if he did? How would I feel about that? Like, how would someone that I love, knowing that they did this awful thing, and I think there's a lot of artists out there. I guess my point was getting to this kind of moral point of like, there are artists out there that make beautiful works, but they do these atrocious things. And this is coming out, you know, with Harvey Weinstein and other people like that.
Right.
But yeah, it just seems really shitty.
It does.
But somehow I feel like I have brought this up in part because you had mentioned feeling hesitant about what you're making. That somehow it doesn't match up with what you're feeling right now.
Well, I mean, I guess I think about the show and what it's supposed to be, and I don't think we've really figured out what it's supposed to be or what we want it to be, which is, and I'm not sure that we're ever entirely going to, because I think the idea is that it can evolve. But I guess I'm sitting here making this thing, and I think, well, do I keep painting on it next week? Do I keep painting on it, like, do we just keep making the paintings, or?
Yeah, I don't think, and I think that's the hard part is like, I mean, we commented on this in the trip down to Pompano that, you know, if we were in a famine, would we still make art? Or if we were in, you know, the middle of a genocide, would we still do these things? I feel like right now you're.
Well, it just depends where you call the we then.
What's that?
I said, I think it just depends where you draw the we then. Is we at our country? You know, because we live in a global world, you know, you could get to that other point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You mean it's some.
Like, so are we currently in famine and genocide? Like, where does the royal we stop?
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, right now, atrocious things are going on.
Sure.
That's a good point. Yeah.
There's a lot of oil on here. Is there any particular reason I shouldn't touch oil paint besides the fact that it will put paint on my hands?
No. Although some oil paint is really bad for you, don't consume it and wash your hands really well. And it's also very hard to get off of your hands.
Yeah, I can see that. I just have this horse here. And it looks sad. It needs some better color. Like, I guess for me, the paintings that we made when we went to Pompano, I think were good because going to Pompano was particularly difficult.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot on the line. And it was truly absurd, you know?
There was a lot of lying or a lot of lying?
No, there was a lot on the line.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, and our doing it was truly absurd. You know, whereas this seems like just seems like us hanging out, which is great, but then it also seems like us not even necessarily doing a great job at hanging out because we're just like distracted and trying to make this painting that probably is like questionably good. I guess I don't think there's very much that's like scary or difficult about it or extreme in that way. I don't know that, like Rebecca said, what we do as an art, as like an artistic do is to like outdo ourselves. I'm not sure that we're like outdoing ourselves or planning a way to outdo ourselves in doing this.
Yeah. No, this is just a thing that we're just doing. It doesn't have to be monumental, and it doesn't have to be anything. We're just here, and there's a freedom to it. We don't also have to continue doing it if we don't want to. Though I also think that there is something to be said for the idea of only doing art when there is some sort of reciprocal quality to it outside of just, getting something to put on your CV or getting money or getting some form of appreciation given by other people. When it's just something that you just want to do and want to see what happens when you do this like weird thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of part of the Pompano trip. And maybe, I don't know, is there something different? What makes this any different? I'm not sure if we even get it, what makes it different if we were to talk about it now. Or what really makes it different. I think we just need to kind of, continue making and continue questioning.
Right. So
at the same time, there are some people that really should just stop what they're doing because it's just like if it's hurtful or if it's, if it takes time away from something that's really necessary, then that's important.
Right. I mean, there are certainly things I should be doing, but that's not to say that this isn't worthy of my time.
Yeah.
In fact, I think this is extraordinarily worthy of my time. Just as an exercise, I just sort of wonder how to proceed forward with it. Because I guess as I continue to make these marks on here, I just don't know. I feel like the way I'm judging their quality at this point is just by the number of marks.
Huh. Yeah.
So maybe we just continue doing this every week and continue working on the same painting so that we have good paintings proven by the amount of time we've spent doing those paintings.
How about this? Instead, how about we say, what would be more fun than this? What would we get more out of than doing this? Is there actually something?
I don't know. What's like the first thing that came to your head?
Playing with fireworks.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I also think that.
I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is pretty sweet.
I mean, I could see it even being just us working on, or us just doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, we could just not plan what we're doing at all and just make sure we're video chatting during that hour.
Yeah, totally.
Like I could just be working on something else. I guess what I don't like about this is that I don't think the activity I'm doing is necessarily leading to anything. And so instead of using the material, because I think the primary thing that I'm making is the video, and I kind of feel like I might as well just be like laying on the couch or like painting a room or deconstructing a floor. And I think those are all activities that might actually be interesting to see to a certain extent. Maybe more so than me, like, not actually being a good painter.
I mean, we could paint while sitting on the couch.
I guess I'm just not sure if I like painting.
Huh.
I'm just kind of out of paint, too.
Yeah, that doesn't work for...
I can't go buy more paint because I don't have any money.
Yeah, that's one thing that I strongly discourage people from doing.
You strongly discourage the users,
I discourage going to an art supply store for anything. Or buying stuff in order to make art with.
Yeah.
I don't think that great art needs... You need to spend money in order to make great art. Or to have some sort of moment with something, or to think critically, or, you know, yeah.
Doesn't require buying stuff.
Yeah, so like, it could just be us hanging out in our studios, and I mean, maybe like, what were you saying? You set the parameters of your craft. It doesn't, whatever other people think or whatever they come to or conclusions they have about your work, those are their conclusions, however harsh they might be. That's how they set what they make and what they believe to be good stuff. You always, though, have to ask yourself, is this...
Hey, you don't have to adopt those parameters.
What's that?
So there's no need for you to adopt those parameters.
Yeah. It's everybody, it's up to everybody, and that's part of the greatness of it.
Of art, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, there is a lot of it that's just simply saying, I believe there is value in this thing, even though I might not necessarily know what it's about or where it's going. And yeah, just kind of going with that, seeing what comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's value in this thing, but I'm moderately interested in it, and maybe as scared of it as I am interested in it. But I think I'm super interested in the idea of us, you know, continuing to work toward recording something that feels good, and to how that happens.
Yeah, totally.
Happens.
Yeah, I mean, I also think this idea that our artwork is, if nothing else, is about our friendship together. And I think that's like a really interesting thing. there's a question though, is that interesting to other people? And I'm not sure it is, but I'm also not sure if it should matter. I think it should to a certain extent if we start showing it places or if we want to really rep this to other people.
I don't think that our artwork is so much about our friendship together as it is our friendship together.
Huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't think it's really about it. I'm not like making this painting about, you know, what good buds we are.
But your art isn't that painting. I would say that your art is the video that's being produced.
My art or our art?
Our art. I would say that the painting is just kind of what I was calling a MacGuffin. You know a MacGuffin, right?
Yeah. No.
No, you don't?
No, what is that?
MacGuffin is what is used in the film industry to kind of begin a plot line for something. Like Hitchcock would use it in all of his works, or most of his works, where, you know, some incident would occur and you've got someone that you're kind of, the viewer feels like they relate to somehow, and then an awful incident kind of occurs either to them or to other people that kind of sucks you into that drama. And in getting sucked into that, the MacGuffin would be like the tragic incident or the person that looks like they're evil, that's doing the wrong incident that you desire to know more about. So it's simply a way to just begin what I think is dialogue between.
Right. So it's a point of access.
Yeah. So the paintings in for the 954 show were a MacGuffin to me. They were simply it had the look of being. I mean, the installation wasn't the paintings. I mean, the work wasn't the paintings as much as the installation of a traditional art show. And maybe that's where we kind of faltered, because it could have looked more traditional or been in a more traditional gallery. But
I think it's fine.
I mean, it was great, but I do wonder in the future if we showed our artwork in a senior center after we did something, would that somehow be more in line with our interests? And there's also a sincerity to that is questionable too.
Yeah, I mean, at what point are you just capitalizing on the empathetic response you're likely from getting by, you know, using the keyword senior center in your description of your artwork?
Yeah. You're saying that people would be sympathetic to you because you show work at a senior.
Yes, I think they would say, "Ah, what nice boys."
Yeah.
Doing their artwork at the senior center.
I feel like from a gallery perspective, it's like it would be the opposite response of like, oh, they're one-upping this place, or maybe not one-upping it, but it's like they show in out there spaces.
I mean, I think a senior center is a great place to make artwork. Don't get me wrong. Or to show artwork. I just think that, maybe unless there's something else that comes along with it, I guess it depends on the senior center, you know? And what's your relationship to it? And are you just like suggesting that's what they need? Or like, what if you contacted the senior center as an artist and you said, hey, I'm an artist and I want to do something with or for you guys, like what would you appreciate? You know, that might be a better way to go about it, instead of being like, you know what your community needs? Like, to see my paintings.
Yeah. I mean, I did the Bullet project in a senior center.
The which project?
The Bullet, or the the one where I like reenact the Matrix.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that was like, they came to me and asked me if I wanted to do a piece for a show, and I did that.
Yeah, well, that's great. I think that my painting got gross.
What's that?
I think my painting got gross.
What do you mean got gross? Did you include imagery that some would find objectionable?
No, just don't, because it's not really fun. My painting's not fun, you know?
Well, throw it off of your roof and see what it looks like after that.
Not fun or pretty. I'm gonna paint it pink. With my fingers.
So, Henry, what I think we're doing right now is not about the paintings as much as it's about just being together, but also under the context of making Sunday painting.
Some art?
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool thing. It's a cool context. I just don't know if I like the art.
Yeah. That's fair. I think I make a lot of artworks that I don't like.
Tell me about it. I've been working toward this show at Trino Soap, right? And
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
So it's gonna open on December 2nd. I guess it's not really a show, it's like a collaboration with them. It's gonna open on December 2nd. And sharp. Sharp. Made all these pots, and I started making this last series of them in like when was that? Like May. And because of the wedding and the house and all this stuff, I just like never finished them. I never glazed them really. So I've been glazing these things for the last like months, and they're painted, you know, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I just fired them this last week and got them all out of the kiln. I've been working on a bunch of painting for months and months and months, but to have never seen them. And then finally pull them out of the kiln, and they were like, damn it, I don't think they're any good.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I just don't know. Like, I think I like it better now as a big pink mass. Can you see mine?
Yeah. Whoa, you just killed it.
Do you like it pink?
I see more white than pink, but yes, pink. Yeah, I mean, it looks good.
I'm gonna get some paper towel. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Or, a dirty sponge. I'm just feeling like there are parts of the painting that I want to get back. But I just have to get down to them.
How much work have you made for Trainasoft so far?
Like a few hundred objects, like 300.
It's a fuck ton of objects.
Yeah, or maybe more. As soon as I finish this painting, which I think is about to happen, I will grab some and show them to you.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, I just think you just never know. You just have to, keep feeling it out. And
I also think it's important to just not give up.
yeah. Or don't be deterred just because, I mean, I also think there's a moodiness that can happen that can take something that you're making that's really cool and turn it into complete trash. Or not even that it is trash, but you're just letting its shoddiness become trash.
A moodiness?
What's that? Yeah. I feel as if I learned that from you.
Are you suggesting I'm moody, Hamilton?
Am I suggesting that you're a what?
That I'm moody?
That you believe?
No, that I'm moody.
That you're moody? Yes, I think you can be moody. I think we can all be moody.
Damn.
Yeah, how's it feel to be me, punk? What?
Feels like shit.
The trick is to not drink too much for me. Because once I start drinking, man, I just turn into bad news.
Drink it?
Yeah, I'm not even a bad drunk or anything. I never even get drunk, really, when I drink. But the next day, I feel like I'm about to get hit by a bat or something. I just feel awful. I feel like anxiety and my mood is all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been drinking so much the last couple of days, but I definitely some in recent days.
You say you have been drinking a lot in the past few days or haven't?
Haven't in the past few, but have been before that. Oh yeah. It's all coming back to me now. Sometimes I feel like canvases just need a good rub down with mineral spirits.
Yeah? Well, canvas rub down is what they call that.
Is it?
Actually, I don't know that for sure, but one would think.
Yeah, I don't know. There is some of that old painting. Just some of it, though. Now it looks like I found this painting in a dirty old barn.
I really think just going back to Bob Ross is really not a bad idea for this. So just like find a way to have a good time.
Yeah. That feels pretty good.
Petunia! Petunia! I'm sorry to hear about Petunia's peeing issues. That sure is hard.
Petunia doesn't really have peeing issues.
Hmm.
I mean, not terrible ones. Which issues did you hear about? Her peeing in the cafe today?
No, I heard about her peeing all night when Rachel was there.
Oh, yeah, that's only because Rachel was there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's just because something was different, you know? Dogs are creatures of habit.
Huh.
Yeah, that happened the last time that you and Rachel were at our place, remember? It's like the animals were all being crazy.
Yeah. Huh.
And it's like, stop it, animals. That's not what they're like on a day-to-day basis. They just get crazy when people come over. Hey, that feels a lot better.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know if that means it's a good painting, but
I'm feeling pretty good about mine. We're at 5 minutes now, I think. Wait. No, it's 4:40 right now. What time did we start?
4:15.
Oh, so we've gone over by 20 minutes.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have to go. I teach in 20 minutes.
Do it. Henry, I love you.
I love you too, bud.
Yeah, teach a great class. I'll see you next week.
Okay, sounds good, man. I just gotta clean up and run. I'll call you before then.
Okay, cool. See ya.
Okay, see you, man. Bye.
Bye.